You got a quarterback and you got an edge rusher, both of whom seem to fall a little bit to you. Do you feel like day one went about as well as it could have for the Washington Redskins?
Yeah, it went really well. We're excited, obviously, to get Dwayne. A quarterback that has performed like he has in 1 year of playing football is quite astonishing, really. He's got all the tools to be an exceptional quarterback in pro football. So now it's a matter of getting him in the building, get him taught up with the offense, and just going slow with him. We're excited to have him. Great kid, great player, very smart. We had a chance to talk to him at the combine. Obviously, we flew him in here, had a long talk with him, went to dinner with him. Spent a lot of time with him, and we feel really good about where he is as a player, where he's going. And then obviously Montez, there was a lot of talk there at 15 where we, losing Preston Smith, we had to address the outside linebacker pass rusher situation, and there was talk about actually taking Sweat at 15. And to get him in the end of the first round, obviously we had to give up a little bit, but we thought it was a no-brainer.
Jay, can you take us through a little bit the decision-making process to get back into the first round, to get Sweat, what it was about him that you guys felt was worth to make that move?
Yeah, I think when you watch him as a player throughout his college career, and then you watch him in the Senior Bowl and the Combine, the measurables are second to none as far as an edge rusher, outside linebacker type player. If you're 6'6", run a 4.4 140, and you have the production that he had at Mississippi State, and he performed like he did at the Senior Bowl, it just is it's a perfect fit for us, because losing Preston, like I said, to go alongside with Ryan Anderson and Ryan Kerrigan, obviously Casanova McKenzie, and I think it's perfect fit for us.
Can you describe what the room was like leading up to that first pick? Kind of what your emotions were, what you noticed in Cruz, Dan, and the rest of your team?
Yeah, I think you're always on edge. You're anxious to see who's going where, because you put a lot of time into this thing, and you're trying to project who's going to take who's going to be where, and you just have to sit back and wait, and you're hoping for the best. But we had a number of picks ready to go. If Dwayne had got picked early, we had a couple other options there, obviously. But we were hoping Dwayne would fall to us, and he did. And fortunately, we got him. But really, it's just a matter of waiting and seeing who's there. There was talks about doing that, yeah, for sure. But we felt good about our spot. We felt good about the amount of players that were there still at 15. And then you try to project who needs quarterbacks, so on and so forth. And really, if you look around the league, there's not a lot of teams that really have to go out and get a first-round quarterback, really. You're looking very few, so we felt like we had a good chance that he would fall to us without having to give up the farm to get him. So fortunately, that move paid off. Bruce did a great job. Obviously, Kyle Smith. Dan was in the room for sure, and everybody's on board.
Was it with Dwayne? You mentioned you have to be slow with him. Is it kind of hard when you have a 15th pick to know that you may have to be that slow with him? And are you looking like maybe just this year is just such a learning, obviously going to be a learning year, but is it one where maybe you just don't expect a lot from him?
Well, I don't know what to expect from him yet. I got to get him in here. We'll throw a lot at him. I don't mean slow. I mean patient, so to speak. But we have to figure out the reps. We have quarterback competitions going out the yin-yang right now, and we have Case here. We're very happy that we have. He's an experienced quarterback who's done it. Colt's been a guy who's been in our system for a long time. He's trying to come back from that injury. And now we have Dwayne. So we have three quarterbacks in the building we feel good about. And, of course, Alex is still rehabbing and doing what he has to do. So it's just a matter of getting them all in the room, throwing the ball out there, letting them throw, and then we'll continue to progress and let guys have an opportunity to play.
Would you anticipate, could you see a scenario where he's competing for that starting job right away?
Well, if you're a 15th pick in the draft, I think you have to give him an opportunity, right, without a doubt. So we feel good about the guys that we have in the building for sure, but when you take a guy in the first round at any time, you're going to have to give him a chance to compete. I mean, that's just the way it is. That's the way pro football is. Case has been through competition before. Obviously, Colt's been through many, many competitions. And the type of guys that they are, they should welcome it, and they should expect it. And that's the way pro football is. That's the way it's always going to be, and that's the way it'll be this year.
Alex, is there a benefit to having him around for Dwayne? Do you think that, I mean, even though he's going to be focusing on his rehab, do you think he'll have some mentorship there with the influence that
Yeah,
he
I
had on
hope
Mahomes?
so. You know, I think first things first. Let Alex take care of Alex first. You know, that's the most important thing. And then moving forward, we welcome him in the building in any capacity whatsoever as he progresses through his rehab. So we'll worry about that later once he gets healthy. But he definitely can be a great addition to help these young kids out, and Case and Colt if it presents itself.
Jay, there were questions about Haskins' mobility, pocket mobility. I mean, how is he going to fit in your system, and where can he improve in that area?
Well, I think he's a big, strong guy. He can maneuver in the pocket. There's a lot of quarterbacks that aren't necessarily scramblers, so to speak. You have to maneuver in the pocket, whether it's a 6-inch step, a step up, a lateral step, what have you, to buy some time. He can buy some time with his size and strength. People bounce off of him. You know, he can do a good job in the pocket. He's a big, strong kid. And he has functional mobility. I've seen him do it at Ohio State. I've seen him get outside the pocket and make throws for touchdowns and in the red zone and other areas of the field. You know, there's some things he can work on. There's things he's going to have to work on. He can work on everything. That's as every quarterback can. As Tom Brady's still working on things right now, and Drew Brees. Quarterbacks have to continue to work on their craft every single day to continue to be the best that they can be. And Dwayne is the type of guy that I think is very excited about getting into a building and working, and that's what drew us to him.
What challenges come with taking a guy who played in a system at Ohio State that was very different than what you run and what most NFL teams are running? How is the translation of his skill set different than someone who's familiar with some of the concepts?
Well, I think if you look at their system this past year, they really did a good job. You know, it's they have some drop back system. They have a drop back system. They have some RPOs. They do a lot of things that NFL teams are doing. Really, they do an excellent job with their drop back passing game, and he's a big part of it. You know, getting the team in the right protection. You watch him at the line of scrimmage, changing protections, which is critical at this stage of his career, and obviously at the next level. He understands pressure looks and how to protect himself, which is critical. And then obviously going through progressions and reading defenses. I think there's going to be the biggest challenge for a quarterback coming in the NFL is the speed. The speed of his receivers, the speed of the defense, the speed of blitzes coming after him, how everything happens so fast. But he's been doing things at ultra-fast level at Ohio State with the no huddle and adjusting his protections and routes. And, you know, for playing only 1 year to put up the numbers that he put up is really incredible. So we feel like there's such an upside with them that you couldn't pass him up.
And on Montez, obviously he drops because of medical concerns. What do you guys know about his status?
Yeah, we think he's good. You know, obviously there were some concerns, but Dr. Castellero, Larry Hess, we've done our due diligence on this, and we feel very strongly that he's a strong, healthy young man that is 6'6.5", I think, with a large wingspan and runs what, a 4.41, I think. You know, I think so. We feel good about his health.
Yeah, I know you obviously you don't have a second-round pick now, but with 2 third-round picks, what are you trying to accomplish and with a bunch of needs to fill maybe on day 2?
Yeah, you know, there's always needs. I think you're trying to find some obviously some depth or some possible starting candidates, some competition for training camp, and we can go a lot of different ways, really. You know, not to say that we need help in a lot of different areas, but there are some very good players left in the draft we're excited about. We just got to wait and see who's left and make the right pick. You know, where we're going to go yet, we don't know yet, but obviously, so we're just going to sit back and let the board play out and then take our top guy.
Jay, as the picks were coming off the board, was there one team when you saw them pass on Haskins you said, okay, now he might be our guy? Giants, Dolphins, Broncos, any team in particular?
Probably the Giants more so than anybody, and maybe Miami. You know, but Miami got Fitzpatrick, and you know, the thing is, there's some quarterbacks left that are still very, very good. You know, so you know, they felt that they can get them in the second or third round, but we just felt like Haskins was the cream of the crop, and we're lucky to get him.
Jay, a couple of things. First of all, how close did you come up to maybe moving up for Sweat at 15 or picking Sweat at 15? How much did you?
Well, there's discussion for that for sure, you know, and obviously some other players were in that talk as well. But, You know, I think when you're talking about a guy, like I said, with the talent of Dwayne and the upside that we think he has, it's hard to pass up a quarterback, you know.
Was Dwayne your number one quarterback on your board?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Was there any discussion at that point about possibly talking to the Cardinals about Josh Rosen?
That never came up, honestly. You know, Josh is on the Arizona Cardinals right now, and we're focused on what we can do in the draft to improve our football team with the players we can get.
Discussions with the Cardinals?
No.
Okay.
How high was Sweat rated on your board? Was he as far
High,
as
very high. Yes, very, very high. Yes, he was. Like I said, he's part of our discussions at 15, and we didn't think we'd get him at 15, and he fell to us. So, obviously, another pass rusher after losing Preston. Like I said, you know, Preston. Say what you want. He played a lot of football for us. He was very productive for us, and so we need to replace him. Obviously, Ryan Anderson. Hopefully, he'll fill that void a little bit, but we need another one to go along with Casanova, Ryan, and obviously Ryan Kerrigan.
Jay, you jumped in front of the Raiders to grab Montez. Did you have inside information on that one that maybe they?
No, I did not, unfortunately. I wish I did, though. That would have been nice, right?
That's what we were hoping for.
Yeah, no, they're fine. I don't talk to them about the draft. We're a little more professional than that, I hope.
How do you see that that outside linebacker position shaking out with Kerrigan, Sweat, and like you said, Anderson and Casanova?
There's 4 right there, and we have some other guys in the building that we like. So we're going to have competition every position and let them go. But when you have guys on the edge nowadays with all the bubble screens and the jet sweeps and all that stuff that can run and get after the quarterback, it's critical because you're going to have to sub some guys in. And I think to ask somebody to play 70, 80 plays a game on defense over a 16-game season is tough. You want to have fresh bodies in there. And when you throw Anderson in there for a little while, he gets a little winded. You throw in a guy that's 6'5",